Okay. Good morning, everybody. This is a tough one. I just wanted to share what I know about the big story that happened overnight. I was, like many people, I was up, saw it on Twitter, and I used to live in Maryland. For those who don't know, I used to live in Maryland for about 20 years. And you probably heard about the Key Bridge, the Francis Scott Key Bridge. I'll go over the details about what I know about it, the impact of it, and the implications to the economy as well. Part of the reason why you're on this channel, but I wanted to go over and share what my thoughts are about this devastating news. So let me share my screen. For those who don't know or haven't seen it yet, here's a replay of the video. I'll let it go through. You can see the cargo ship hitting the base of the bridge. It's pretty devastating. I'll let this run through, but I'll share a bunch of different thoughts here and links here. Happened in the middle of the night. Happened about 1:30 Eastern in the morning. And fortunately, it seems like that there was virtually no traffic on the bridge. But if you look at longer videos of it, there were a few cars going by that they were getting on and off the bridge. But this is an overview of the area of Baltimore. And Baltimore, the blue ring is the Baltimore Beltway. That's the 695 corridor. The yellow, this is the harbor here at about, basically, if this is where a clock, this is at 5 o'clock. Is that right? 5 o'clock on the Beltway. And then we're going to talk about the two yellow lines and the blue line. That's what we're going to talk about as far as the impact area. The major arteries are the yellow lines. Hopefully here we go. Major arteries are yellow lines. Let me zoom in a little bit. The first one is, thank you. First one is I-95. That is right through the inner harbor. And this is 895. This is the old harbor tunnel. This is 695. This is the Francis Scott Key Bridge. This is the longest span before you get out to the mouth of the Chesapeake. And then eventually you get out to go under one larger bridge, under the Annapolis Bridge. I forget what the name of it right now, but that's a big bridge. I could probably zoom in on that, but that is, I forget the name of the bridge. Oh, it's the, well, that's not what they call it. The Bay Bridge is what they call it. So this is the area that's impacted last night, no pun intended. I don't want to make light of the situation, but this harbor is a major harbor, and there's a lot of commerce that happens in this area. This area here, but for the FSK Bridge, the Francis Scott Key Bridge, between Hawkins Point and Dundalk and Sparrows Point, this is a very industrial, blue-collar, working-class neighborhood areas. Curtis Bay, Brooklyn Park, Lincoln Heights. These are all like your for lack of a better term, your more working class, blue collar people. That's where they live. Okay. Now, most people do not take this bridge because they mostly, like most people coming from DC or higher up in Pennsylvania, they stay in the 95 corridor. Right. They stay right in the inner harbor. This is where like the football stadium is. This is where most of your tourist stuff is. Your financial district, all your tourist stuff are in this area where nearly between the word Baltimore and these two blue lines. That's where most people, and this is where football stadium, baseball stadium, where the Ravens play, where the Orioles play. That's most of the people, that's where things are at. The harbors, right, there are in the mouth of Patapsco River. You'll find a lot of harbor, a lot of industrial stuff to the Dundalk, Sparrows Point area. That's where the bridge impact was. Now, I'm just going to jump through here a little bit to talk about it, and then I will get to the economic impact shortly. So first off, the good news, I don't know Justin. I found this on Twitter, but apparently the governor confirmed that the ship's crew did issue a mayday before they hit the bridge. And here you can see the impact of hitting the bridge. Now, I'm not going to talk about any tinfoil hat kind of stuff, but it's out there. Here's another view. You can see this is from Tom and you know him from Veritas. But you can see that the power went out on the boat twice. It went completely dark, and then it just hit the number of boats that go under these bridges throughout the country, not just the Baltimore Harbor, is immense. So for this to happen and to hit it like dead on, it's pretty remarkable. And again, it's devastating to see this. And the bigger impact, I hate using that word, but the bigger ramification of this, I'll get to in a moment. But let me get through just a couple places. If you want to stay more updated, here's Justin's tweet again. And follow me on Twitter. I'll post some of the stuff here too. I'll retweet this one. All right, repost that one. Okay, so if you want to know more, that the Baltimore Sun is a great. Again, I lived in Maryland for 20 years. I know about this, like who does good coverage. The Sun does good coverage. Fox 45, WBFF does good coverage. WBAL in Baltimore does good coverage. And Jay-Z is more of a local aspect. That's the CBS outlet, but he's Channel 13. They do good coverage too. But they have obviously you can go to all these different Fox Baltimore, Channel 11, WBAL. And then there's all about the FSK bridge, but they're all updating now. I mean, they're just constant updates here. Here's another picture of the cargo boat. So it was a cargo vessel. It wasn't just a normal boat. This is about as big as you get. And you can see here's a tanker boat up here. This is a cargo vessel. Like all these, you know what a shipping container looks like. They're about 53 feet long, if I remember correctly. You have like 20 of them in a line here. See, this is like 600 feet long boat by many wide. This is not a small vessel, and it struck dead on onto the support of it. Now, the good news apparently is that they did have an alert. The crew did radio in that they were losing power, and they were able to, before they totally lost power twice, which is strange, and this was in the middle of the night, but they were able to alert people, and apparently the only persons, any loss of life in this matter is obviously terrible, but apparently only the working crews were on the bridge at the time. Although if you watch the footage, you could see vehicles and especially 18-wheelers getting across the bridge just in time. But apparently they tried to shut down traffic. So that was good. That was good news there. But one post that I wanted to talk about, and here's a video as I speak. I'm going to turn the volume down, but you can see how long of a span this bridge is. This isn't like people were driving, just filming the bridge. It's not a small bridge. It's got a major elevation change. At the peak of it, it's over a couple hundred feet above the water level. It's high, and it's because you have to get these boats in. It's a harbor. It's like near the mouth of the Chesapeake Bridge, Chesapeake Bay. It's not all the way at the bottom. That the Chesapeake Bay goes all the way down to Virginia Beach. But you have big boats coming in, and you have major vessels, and you have also military vessels that can come through here. They want to provide lots of clearance, and as a result, the bridge is kind of high. So it's a long bridge. It's a long span. I don't know exactly how many feet. It's probably about 1,500 feet. It's a major endeavor. But let me get to the details I wanted to get to. And I'm trying to get to that one post. But so this is the details. Like the last year, the traffic can be managed. I'll talk about the traffic in a moment. But the bigger implication is that last year the Baltimore port, just Baltimore itself, the port handled over 52 million tons of foreign cargo, valued at over $80 billion, as per a recent statement from Maryland governor's office. So I'll also highlight one other story about the number of vessels that go through here, or the traffic that goes through here. I'm trying to find that number. Bear with me. I'll find it as I speak. But hundreds of thousands of people go through here, and there's a lot of traffic that goes through here. And I had it open up previously. I just can't find it. There we go. So the bridge's collapse is sure to have a ripple effect on the traffic. The bridge carried more than 12.4 million commercial and passenger vehicles in 2023, nearly 34,000 people a day, according to an Maryland Department of Transportation Authority. I guess that's the right acronym. So let me drop out of here, and we'll just talk about this. So lots to talk about. Obviously, there's lots to discuss with this, but the major implication is that this is going to be an example of what is going on with their infrastructure throughout the economy. You've got the people will find their way around this bridge. And it's unfortunate. It's difficult, but 34,000 a day, that's a lot of cars. If you do the math, it's probably over 1,000 cars an hour. Doesn't sound like that much, and it really isn't. But it is a major thoroughfare. Now people are going to have different commutes and different commute times, and probably more people will have to work remotely. And again, a lot of blue collar people are impacted here. It is the outer loop. It is the outermost part of the Baltimore Beltway, not as frequent as the north side or the west side of Baltimore or the inner harbor, but it's still an impact. I hate using that word. It's still it still matters. Okay. But the bigger detail, it's like, forget the cars, not that they don't matter, but the bigger ramification is the port itself. If you've got the mouth of the harbor with all this debris now and all this rubble and all the this bridge collapse. They've got to clear this out. It's going to take months. So basically all summer long, spring, summer, fall, the Baltimore harbor is going to be stagnated. It's going to have a lot of problems. You're going to have a lot of ships having trouble getting in and out of the Baltimore harbor. And that is a major harbor on the East Coast. And there's, as mentioned before, tons and tons of good, like it was 80 tons of cargo that goes through the port. It's probably the biggest port on the East Coast. I could be incorrect. Leave a comment down below and let me know if I'm incorrect on that. But I think Baltimore is one of the busiest ports in the Eastern Seaboard, and it's going to impact a lot of business, a lot, and it's going to be a source of blame for inflation again and prices going up. So we already know prices are going up. You've probably seen a sticker shock again at the pump as the prices are going up. I think the national average is over $3 a gallon, and I've seen $4 and $5 a gallon on the West Coast. It's amplifying everywhere, and it's going to be a rough next 6 months as we head to November. Obviously we know what's going on then, but this is a major news story. This is going to highlight again infrastructure that you're probably going to be talking on in DC, that DC will try and spin this. However, unfortunately, they're going to take advantage of the crisis. That's what they do. Never let a good crisis go to waste, is the old saying. So they're going to try and push infrastructure bills, push more budget through, push more things through, and it's horrible what they're going to do with this news. But it could have been much worse. But the major ramification I wanted to share with this to the economic news out there is that it's not just the vehicles, it's not just the inconvenience to people getting to and from place to place in the Baltimore area. Most people will use the Inner Harbor as they have for the most part. This is going to impact the people that are more local to that area. But the bigger concern is the harbor itself. The harbor is now really hamstrung because you have a major thoroughfare. That's what they got to sort out today. Is like, how many channels are left open, because the entire bridge went down across that span. And let me get that map up one more time. And I think that is probably the biggest takeaway. And I will share the screen one more time. So here we go. Like this red line, this red impact here, this red exclamation point, the entire mouth of the Patapsco River. So all these shipping channels are now blocked by the debris of that bridge that's now down. So now if you zoom out a little bit more, like this empties out into the Key Bridge and all the way down to the mouth of the Chesapeake, down by Virginia Beach, all the way down here. But so many shipping vessels come up through this channel. And aside from Philadelphia and Newark, this is they're going to have to divert things up to those ports. And that's going to be a major implication, a major issue with cost of transport, impact to added traffic to those other ports, to anywhere from Chesapeake, Virginia Beach area, to Philadelphia, to the Newark, New York City area, even up to Boston. I think all the way up and down the Eastern Seaboard, they're going to feel this because the shipping channels are going to be closed, right? You're not going to be able to get in and out of the Baltimore harbor. And the Baltimore is a central location on the Eastern Seaboard. A lot of ships drop off their containers here, and there's a lot of industrial work that goes on here to unload those shipping containers and distribute them around like the entire East Coast. So that's the major takeaway I wanted to share today, and that's the major story. And I'd love to hear your thoughts. Please share them in the comments below. But I just wanted to share you from someone who is familiar with the area, familiar with what goes on in the Baltimore region. I lived there for 20 years. I know what goes on there. I still have people in that area. I know what goes on. I know who to listen to and what coverage. WTOP in the DC area is a great news channel. So is WBAL. And I think they're on the radio as well. But let this percolate for 24 hours and see how the real story to follow, the real story to understand the ramifications here. And I'm using the bigger word rather than the smaller word because I don't like to want to say that. The bigger takeaway here is what's going to happen to the harbor. How much traffic is left for the harbor? Are they 50% capacity, 25% capacity? Because that is a major issue for the Eastern Seaboard. And we already know that distribution channels are tough on the West Coast. Now we're going to see it on the East Coast, and that's going to drive all the prices up. So if you made it this far, I really appreciate it. Please leave a comment down below, like, share, subscribe. Really helps out the channel, and I'll see you in the next video. Take care.